Hey, Elf. Hey, Color Purple. I figure, given the content warnings that are included, I figured I'd start this video on the content warnings, just because, yeah, I feel like that's shit that people might want to know. Hey, Scapegoat. Doing okay? Walked to the grocery store today. Not easy on my leg, because I've still got that sort of little bit of nerve pain in my leg, so that sucked. Especially combined with yesterday's walk to the mall. Secrets of the Soul together. I mean, we could, but, like, I don't know. I don't really care enough. Like, I just don't, I don't care enough about it. You like the questions? I mean, it's free. Like, it's a free game, Scapegoat. I mean, if you have Steam, which is a free service, you know, download Steam, download the test, and find out what your word is. Hey, Jordan. Don't do anything for the next half hour. I mean, I'm gonna give it like 15 minutes and then I'm gonna get started, Jordan. I always give like 15 minutes for people to show up and then I get started. Could have played together? Yeah. So we could all over analyze the questions together. That was the issue I ran into. I did overanalyze quite a few of those questions. I don't even remember any of the questions now, though. Genuinely, I don't remember a single one of those questions. I have forgotten every single one. Don't do anything. I mean, I'll be starting the game, though. We probably wouldn't have gone far yet. Three sessions for something that should really only take about 15 minutes. I feel like the test. Joy Advancers. Oh, thank you. Hey, Rebecca. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, I feel like it's a game that should probably really only take about 15 minutes. It took me an hour because I had to read the questions out loud. Uh, and then talk about my answers. But I feel like it should take about 15 minutes. Yeah, maybe 20. So, yeah, if I'd done it on stream, it would have been like 3 2-hour sessions for what should be like a 15 to 20 minute thing. Because, what questions? From the test. Secrets of the Soul. That shitty little game I did the video on last week. Or this week. Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday's game. Speaking of games, I need to remember to upload Emily is Away for tomorrow. Emily is Away Part 1. What was it? It's a video, Jordan. It wasn't a live. It wasn't something I did live. It was a pre-recorded video, like one of my Let's Play videos that I do, that I upload Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Fridays. I finished my I finished uploading my Life is Strange Let's Play, so I will begin my Final Fantasy Let's Play in the new year. In the meantime, just doing some quick one-off things. And I started with The Test. Secrets of the Soul. Emily's Away is iconic. Fun party and cheating arc. No cheating. I did go to the party, yeah. I did go to the party that Emily invited me to. And then she visited me in college when we went to parties. She was not dating anyone when that happened. She'd already broken up with Brad at that point. She and Brad had broken up. Anyway, I'm looking for once I've tonight. After I do this, I'll probably end up playing 2 and 3. I did download Emily's Away 2 and 3. I'd never played those ones. It's only a few months ago that I found out they even existed. I mean, Emily seems nice enough. Hey, Killface. What are we getting into? I mean, you can see with the content warning what we're getting into. NSFW. There's no nudity. Or, hold on. Infrequent censored nudity. So, in terms of, like, sexual content, there's nothing, there's no, like, we don't see anything. We don't even see nipples. No genitals visible, so no... It's a visual novel, so I mean, we don't really see anything. That said, Is it safe for children? Or is it safe for work? I mean, is it safe for work? Depends on your workplace, I suppose, but it gets into some pretty heavy shit. Also, where the hell are you working that you're able to just watch people play visual novels? Anyway, before we get started, why would they make a game like this? I mean, they made a game that seemed interesting to them. So yeah, another T-shirt. I assume I'm unpackaging a hit here. Hey, comic book. What is the threat of incest? Main character's father wants to force her to marry him. Spoiler, but that's like right at the. It's very early in the game, from what I understand. So. Thanks, Killface. Or Jordan, whichever. I'm guessing Killface. But I was actually just about to ask you, Killface, to do that. Jesus Christ. Where's the hoodie? Still hasn't arrived. Shouldn't be too much longer, though. Anyway. Alright, well, give me a second here. Yeah, wait to see if the douchebag does show up again. New t-shirt. Hey, Carl. What is this game about? I will get into that in just a minute. Give me a second to go put this t-shirt on, and then I will get into that. I'll be back in, like, 30 seconds. Adorable Gigi t-shirt. I really like this. This is adorable. This is an adorable shirt. It really is like just an adorable shirt. It's Gigi! It's Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service. All right. So, yes, content warning for this game. Hey, Jackie. So yeah, very much content warning for this game. Explores heavy themes. So let's get into it. Ooh, should we play en français? En français. English. How is it? Okay, I literally just fucking added that to my... Why is that? I literally just added N-word to my blocked word list, so how is it still fucking going through? Why is the blocked word list not actually fucking working on this, for this right now? Stupid. That's just stupid that apparently it's not actually doing anything to block the thing that person's saying. Right. There we go. Why is incest so common in French media? I mean, I'm sure I have said N-word in the past. I just said it now. I have not said the actual N-word. Right, so, this game. Let me get back to the actual menu, I suppose. By the way, is this a good volume for the... Yeah, it seems like a good volume for the sound for now. Is this a good volume for the music? This seems like a good volume to me. Is it a good volume for everyone else? A little bit... Turn it down a little bit more. So yeah. Good volume or just a little, or should it be just a little bit down? Let me know if you need me to turn it down a little bit. Sounds good? Okay. Alright. Okay, that one was good. That was good. Now the troll isn't even able to... Now the troll is already being auto-held. Anyway. So this game... This is based on the Donkey Skin fairy tale, which is a darker variation of Cinderella. Uh, Donkey Skin is a French. The Donkey Skin is a French fairy tale. Drawing is pretty. Yeah, there's some really nice art in this. Hey, Vanna. So yeah, there's a rich king. There's a very wealthy king with his beautiful wife and daughter. The king's wealth comes from his magical donkey, who poops gold. Stepmom? Stepmom is not the issue here. So yeah. Right. So this king has a beautiful wife and daughter, and a donkey who poops gold. The wife dies, and asks that the king not remarry, except to a woman who matches her, who's equal to her. Eventually, the king decides to remarry, but the only woman who fits the promise is his daughter. So the princess runs away. And has some different adventures and stuff. She's got a lilac fairy who guides her. Address all the colors of the sky, address the color of the moon, address as bright as the sun, and the hide of the king's donkey. Hey, Joanna. So yeah, the fairy advises the daughter to make impossible demands. Dress all the colors of the sky. Dress the color of the moon. Dress bright as the sun. The hide of this precious donkey. Finally, the she gets locked in a tower. Or yeah, she flees to another kingdom. Prince finds her. Sees her through a keyhole and falls in love with her. Asks for a cake baked by her. I have not, Joanna. She has a ring that falls into it. And blah, blah, blah. She gets to marry the foreign prince. I'm not fucking ready to do it, Joanna. So yeah, that is the Donkey Skin fairy tale. So this is based on that fairy tale. And now that we are over 20 minutes in, I think. Yeah, now that we're 25 minutes in. Can I be your second skin? Let us start. How did it all begin? Before my eyes was the most beautiful landscape one could imagine. A vast blue sky as far as the eye can see. A bright sky speckled with thin clouds. Oh, I have a therapist, Joanna. Like, I do have a therapist already. I am in therapy. I could never have dreamed of a better place to honor my last moments. In fact, it is almost a waste. The light is too dazzling, too powerful. I am falling apart on the spot. Thin strands of hair periodically obscure my eyes. Be on this for the doctor? Yeah, there is I do need to fill out the form for that. There is a form I need to fill out for that. My own weight takes me down in an endless freefall. Lower and lower still. Yes, I am drowning in this gaseous immensity. Little by little, my thoughts turn into a confused jumble. My whole being becomes numb. I am blown away by the wind like a wisp of straw, swept far away according to its whim. The very contours of my being fade away. My memories, my essence, disappear. To tell the truth, as my body approaches the ground, as the impact becomes imminent, nothing matters anymore. I would like to say that I am scared, but I do not feel anything anymore. Give me just 1 second here. All I know is that I do not deserve what is up above. That I do not deserve to fly. While my corporeal envelope shatters into pieces, my mind keeps moving. Particles float around my stiff and lifeless body. Everything becomes dark, silent. I do not know where I am going, but I know that this is where I belong. There lies my punishment. I return to original darkness. How can I even be forgiven? A rustle interrupted my slumber. Hey! Okay, I just got an achievement. Congratulations, you're dead. I got the Congratulations, you're dead achievement. Which is, pretty great achievement name. My eyes opened by themselves, almost against my will, to reveal a blurry and gray world. Confused, I tried to move, but my body had suddenly become so heavy that it would not respond. After long minutes spent struggling against myself, I finally managed to twitch my fingertips. Yet something was still holding me back. All of a sudden, I realized that I was not lying in my bed, just awakening from a long and pleasant night. I opened my eyes wide. I was standing, held against a wall by climbing plants tied to my limbs. A flexible botanical wall surrounded me wholly in some sort of protective and comfortable cocoon. Slightly pulling on the plants made them collapse and allowed me to entirely release myself. I could not stay here. I had to leave. Meh. Make like a plant and leave. Eh. Also very pretty here. Also a very pretty image. I banned spammers. Determined, I pierced the membrane with my own hands and stepped into the unknown. I found myself in a gigantic temple, plunged in half-light. Pale lunar rays passed through from above the vault, which allowed my eyes to get used to the darkness and finally see what the night was hiding within. There were dozens and dozens of cocoons, similar to mine, aligned all around me. I moved towards the nearest one and glanced through the gleaming translucent membrane. There was someone inside, a sleeping human being. This discovery deeply disturbed me. She cute. She's pretty. Despite my dry mouth and hazy mind, it seemed clear to me those poor souls were being held captive against their will. I absolutely had to free them. As I was about to tear the lianas imprisoning this stranger's cocoon, I heard a bell tinkling behind me. I turned round. A strange figure was standing a few meters from me. A man or a woman dressed in a long robe akin to a monk's, leaning on a cane with their eyes fully covered by a black blindfold. The Graveyard of Discarded Dreams. This is the Graveyard of Discarded Dreams. Who are you? What is this place? Instead of answering, the apparition simply beckoned me to come closer. I had a moment of hesitation. After all, I did not know this person. There was no guarantee I could trust them. Your closet? What, your closet is the Hall of Broken Dreams? But it was also the only human being able to provide me with the reasons of my presence in this enigmatic place. Could I even hope to understand without their help? As I was remaining motionless and mistrustful, my interlocutor reached for me. I sighed. In the end, this blind person appeared quite harmless. Had they wanted to coerce me, they would have probably tried to do so earlier. Suspicious, yet determined, I responded in kind and grabbed their hand. Then they quietly took me through the temple. To my greatest surprise, there were many other rooms like the one I had awakened in, all filled with cocoons. This strange and dreamlike sight sparked my curiosity just as much as it confused me. Where are we exactly? Why are there plants everywhere? Why do people sleep in cocoons? But my companion remained silent the whole way, and simply led me to the exit, to my annoyance. At least tell me your name! Finally, I arrived outside. I left to feed my kitten and looks like I missed a lot. Not a whole lot, Jackie. So far, all you've missed is that, we died. That's the main thing you've missed so far, is that we died and woke up in a cocoon, in a big hall filled with other cocoons that have people sleeping inside them. Before me, a desert scattered with ruins stretched out to the horizon. Destroyed buildings were engulfed by luxurious plants, yet the atmosphere was dry. Gusts of wind regularly created whirlwinds of dust from the muddy ground. In the firmament, a gigantic moon seemed to watch over this mysterious landscape. Oh. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can see the moon there. I felt strangely anxious, as if I had returned to a familiar place. A place lurking deep within my heart that I would have preferred to forget. My temporary guide brought me out of my torpor by letting go of my hand and respectfully bowing down before me. Wait! Before I even had a chance to hold them back, they vanished into the depths of the temple again. Is this game a metaphor? Probably. At the same time, a group of young women came out of one of the buildings. They noticed me and readily rushed towards me, laughing. Oh, you just woke up? You must be a new shadow. What's your dream? What's your dream? Tell us. Come on, don't pressure him. The poor soul must be utterly lost. But it's the first time I meet someone who has just been born. I'm intrigued. I want to know what he saw. I do not understand what you are talking about. Where are we? What exactly is this place? Why are there people sleeping in there? Bye, Jackie. Good luck with your errands. Don't worry, we're going to explain everything. But first, you must tell us your dream. Was it only a dream? I don't know anymore. I was cradled by plants and it was dark. I had to pierce the membrane. But what happened before that? Before that, I think I was in the sky. A deep azure sky. But that is the only thing I remember. Well, that's not very precise. If a newborn claims he doesn't remember his dream, he is most likely a wavering shadow. We must take him to Lys as soon as possible. You're right, his time is limited. He needs to find his dream quickly. Lys? Limited time? What is the meaning of this? What is going to happen to me? That's simple. We're going to take you to the wise woman of the village. She's the most knowledgeable person around. She'll know how to help you. Absolutely, and she'll explain the whole thing far better than us. It was anarchy in my head. I absolutely did not understand what was going on. None of the human beings I had crossed paths with thus far appeared hostile, but nothing made any sense. I half-heartedly let myself be guided through the ruins by my new friends. We met other people on the way. Men and women of all ages, dressed with loose and relatively warm clothes, probably to protect themselves from the wind and aridity. Some of them were talking aloud on a threshold, others were building some terracotta huts, and some were pulling carts laden with tools. One could have thought it was an ordinary village, if not for this peculiar and unspeakable feeling, as if these people did not really exist, as if this hamlet was in fact inhabited by shadows. So I was just finding the wind a little bit on the loud side, so I just wanted to turn that down a little bit. Finally, the young women stopped before a bivouac. A small group was gathered around the fire. Step aside! It's important. We have to see Lys right now. It's true, we may have found a wavering shadow. With these words, a voice both sharp and soft rose. Let me see. The villagers moved aside in a flash. Then I saw her. A young woman stood straight amidst the crowd, full of confidence. She cute. She was wearing a pure white dress that contrasted with the gray and dirty air. With a bright red cloak on her shoulder, she shook her brown hair and smiled mysteriously. Her piercing eyes saw right through my flesh. As if she had put a finger over my heart, a sharp pain ran through me. Her eyes reminded me of the sky, a great azure sky. And the coldness of the ground when my guts spilled onto the floor. I was falling. I was drowning. I was going to hit the floor. I was only fate's toy, a thing without a will. Yes, that was my dream, a fall. But was it really a dream? The wind blowing in my hair felt so real, the light so bright. Hey, Joel. And before that? Before falling, I was on a lighthouse's promontory. I was watching over the landscape from the top of the tower. The air was fresh, just warm enough, and the sun was caressing my skin. But despite all that, I jumped. I was the one who did it. I killed myself. But why? I do not know. I do not remember why I did it. Hey, BK. When I finally came back to my senses, the young woman was staring at me with a large smile. You just got a piece of your memory back, right? The Graveyard of Discarded Dreams. I think that's the name of the track. I think that's actually what the name of this track is. This particular musical piece is called The Graveyard of Discarded Dreams. It's pretty good. It's a nice eerie tune. Nice eerie melody. That's a half smile. By the way, a couple people have come in since I started the stream, so... GG t-shirt. My GG t-shirt came in the mail today. From Kiki's delivery service. For anyone who didn't see it earlier. This is an awesome shirt. It's adorable. Anyway. What? Who are you? The shirt? Yep. Ah, how stupid of me. I did not introduce myself. Where are my manners? You're wearing a shirt too? My name is Lise. I'm this village's wise woman, and I'm going to be with you during the inner journey you're going to make in the following days. I do not get it at all. What am I doing here? What is this place? Don't worry. My job also entails telling you about the rules of this world. Let me begin with an overview of what's going on, then you can ask me anything you want. Is that all right with you? It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Subject personality, deeply pessimistic. I see. If this is how you're going to be, go on. Ask me anything on your mind right now. What do you want to know? Where are we? You currently stand in a timeless place which doesn't have a real name, but you can think of it as a purgatory. In this world, the night is eternal. You'll never see the sun. There's no end to the moor wherever you go. Nobody knows if it leads anywhere at all. Nobody knows where these ruins come from, and nobody knows why we're the only ones wandering here. But we do know that we're not living beings. We don't need to eat or drink, much less sleep. We are just here. This is incidentally why we've called ourselves shadows. What exactly is a shadow? By nature, a shadow's existence is cryptic. You wake up one day in the temple, you use your time as you see fit. Then one day you go back to sleep without any explanation. That's what we call being born and dying, but that's not really the best way to describe it, because you can wake up multiple times, or sleep forever. It's tradition for each shadow to be given a name based on the dreams they had while they were sleeping in their cocoon. It is said that those dreams are in fact memories from your previous life. Your presence here is like a transition. If you manage to put your previous self behind you, you will be able to come back to life and have a second chance. If not, you will be stuck here. Does this mean I am dead? Probably. This is not how you pictured the afterlife, right? Well, let us say it is rather surprising. I suppose it would be better for one to know the basics of metempsychosis beforehand, but that is not very common. Metempsychosis? What? Metempsychosis, the supposed transmigration at death of the soul of a human being or animal into a new body of the same or a different species. So, somewhat similar to reincarnation. Huh. I've never heard that term before. Interesting. Strangely enough, as long as we're alive, we never worry too much about what comes after. Rebirth and the transmigration of souls, these concepts seem so distant to us. And when it is time to die, nobody is ever ready. What exactly happens during a shadow's birth? What is going to happen to me? Oh, that is quite simple. The village council will gather to give you a name and will let you live among our tribe until the next time you are called to sleep. If you wake up once again in the future, we will give you a new name, and so forth. That is it? Heard a whole bunch of words. I know. I've heard lots of words, but metempsychosis is a new one. Most of it. That's the usual process when someone wakes up with clear memories of their dream, at least. Sometimes the shadow only has partial or blurry memories, so we can't give them a proper name. That's what wavering shadows are. People stuck between worlds, whose flame could vanish at any moment. Alright, why are wavering shadows different from the others? I can't tell you why some people have it easier than others when it comes to remembering their dreams, but I have my own theory. In my opinion, it's all a matter of individuality. Not everyone is ready to put things behind them, especially if they have lived a hectic life. There's also a high rate of wavering shadows among those who have killed themselves in the past. I imagine it's because they arrived here with the desire to forget. What happens when shadows don't recall their dream? I couldn't help but gulp as I waited for the answer. The wavering shadow is locked in the purification hall for several days so they can meditate and get rid of the mist in their mind. After those few days, if they manage to get their memories back, they will have the right to join us. However, if they fail for whatever reason, they're denied. The wavering shadows who fail to overcome this trial are cursed. You will lose the ability to see as well as the ability to speak. There will only be one way left to atone for your sins: to become one of the temple's priests. Like that person I met when I woke up, they were blindfolded and would not speak to me. They were indeed a priest, so they could not answer you. I get it now. Priests watch over the temple. This is where most of the shadows wake up and where the faded shadows come to sleep. So you do not do anything special to keep them asleep? Not at all. Actually, the shadows who are on the verge of fading are irredeemably drawn to this place and come stand next to the walls by themselves. Irremediably. Not irredeemably. irremediably. This kid uses some fancy words. Then plants grow little by little over their bodies and cover them. You can consider your cocoon an extension of your body. That is disgusting. I find this rather poetic, you know. Anyway, the priests lost their existence and now spend their lives serving the community. Some occasionally patrol around the world and try to find shadows who wake up in other places. It is a noble but lonely mission. There's no other way to save wavering shadows? I'm glad you asked. What's this face? What is this face, Lise? Why do I think you're going to say something I don't like? You see, in the past we would simply throw them into the purification hall and wait for them to overcome their trial by themselves. When I came here, I offered to help wavering shadows recall their past lives using a method called nemotherapy. That's why those girls brought you to me. It's supposed to be nemotherapy? Nemotherapy or nemotherapy? I suppose it doesn't really matter if it's Nemo or Nemo. I am scared. What do you want to know? What is nemotherapy? The whole process simply involves analogy. I just tell stories that involve universal themes to my interlocutor's personality, or suited to my interlocutor's personality. Then they have to draw parallels with their past life on their own. My method might appear childish to you, but it does help stimulate the memory. All I have to do is listen to you and react when something sounds familiar? Exactly. I'm going to make you explore a Uchronia, and you'll have to find pieces of your memory. Uchronia? Huh. Word information. Huh. A story set in no time. So original meaning was a synonym for alternate. Hey, troll police. So it looks like the original meaning of Uchronia was a story set in alternate history, basically. It's being used to expand a little bit more. Umbrella category of fiction that encompasses alternate history, parallel universes, and stories based in futuristic or non-temporal settings. Alternatively, another use is a genre story rooted in divergences from actual history that originate as more gradual or micro-level changes, in contrast to alternate history, whose divergences have tended to be rooted in sudden and macro-level changes. Interesting. I'd never heard that term before. That's kind of neat. I learned 2 new terms. I've already forgotten the first one. More of a laconic brook. I've already forgotten what the first new word I learned was. Yeah, no, I can't remember it. But Uchronia. A Uchronia? You must be familiar with the concept of utopia, a place that does not exist. For my part, I let people travel through times that do not exist. Temporal utopias I had the opportunity to visit in the past. So there she explains it, yeah. It is sort of, yeah, it is related to the idea of a utopia. Just a sort of temporal version of a utopia. Wait, what do you mean by visit? I thought there was nothing else beyond the moor. I'm not fond of getting into the details because it's rather hard to swallow. But let's say I have the huge privilege of being the only one able to leave the village. So there is an exit to this place somewhere. Not really. Well, it's hard to explain. Do you really wish to know? Of course I do. Basically, I'm able to travel from one world to another. They're all closed spaces, but I can walk between worlds to find my way. I can't be seen by the inhabitants of those other worlds, but I can watch many things. That's why I'm able to take you with me in a Uchronia, and why I'm a respected member of the village. Nobody else is able to do this. Am I looking at Lisa's shit-eating grin? Fair. Wait, you want me to witness past events you have already seen yourself? How is that even possible? Yes and no. Like I said, these are Uchronias, temporal utopias. Time works differently there. I can go back to the creation of a world if I so desire. Why are you the only one able to travel? Well, Lise looked very uncomfortable. She took a deep breath and shot a profoundly gentle look at me. Well, shadows are not really people to begin with, and the things you see in your dreams are not really from your past life. In fact, we're ideas, all of us. Our dreams are our concepts. But a concept is a shifting thing, so it's quite normal to be put to sleep and come back to life as a new variation of that concept. The thing is, nobody here realizes it. Or rather, nobody wants to admit it. Because if there's an idea, then there's someone who thought of that idea. And being the toy of some unseen being is not pleasant. I'm the only one here who accepted myself as an incomplete idea and embraced my true essence. That's all. Ideas? But ideas cannot feel and think. That is ridiculous. We have to be human. See, I knew you wouldn't believe me. Still, that is the truth. This place does have a name. The Ideas Graveyard. Bad feeling that Lisa's behind all this? No. I'm getting the feeling that this is all just basically a framing device. I have a feeling that all of this is just a framing device. I mean, we haven't even gotten into the actual story yet. We've been at this for like over half an hour, and we haven't even gotten to the actual story yet. This is all just, like I said, framing device. You and I are both incomplete characters in a story that has never been told. That's why we're doomed to be born again and again, hoping to achieve our final form and obtain the acceptance of our maker. That is preposterous. You know what? Forget it. You have to be a human being. I was only joking. Ha ha ha, that was so funny. I knew it. That was one weird metaphysical ramble you went on. It did not make sense at all. Anyway, how do you manage to travel from one world to another? With magic. I'm a witch. Voila, there's nothing more to know about me. Okay, I like Lise. Lise is great. So sarcastic. It's like, I'm fucking done trying to explain anything. We can learn how to use magic? No, you can't. Only I am able to do it because I'm special. I'm the chosen one. She's like one question away from from just saying, shut up, let's move on. Oh, I see. I totally get it. You should have told me this sooner instead of rambling. I hate you all so much sometimes. She's over purgatory. She's fine with purgatory. She's fed up with people. She's fed up with everyone around her. Tell me more about Uchronias. Like I said earlier, Uchronias can be defined as events, most often paradoxical ones lost in time. I especially focus on fairy tales, not only because they're extremely well suited for the exercise, but because everyone thinks they already know about them. Which means? You probably think you know everything about the original fairy tales, right? Nope. However, there are dozens and dozens of versions for each story, and they all come from various lands in the same country. Sometimes the story can unfold in an entirely different way. If you think about it, how can you tell what is wrong and what is right? I've got the answer. Really? Today, I'm going to show you the truth behind a fairy tale you must have heard about. I'm going to show you what really happened, and you'll realize that different versions of the story do not necessarily contradict each other. It's actually quite the contrary. They're all true at the same time. I'm not sure I understand what truth there is in fairy tales. I mean, they're moral lessons. You'll understand when we get there, trust me. Here, take this. A new file has been added to the archives. Each time you will be confronted with a lesser-known fairy tale, you will be able to take a look at my notes. It's not much, but I hope you will find them instructive. Neat. Tell me more about what happens next. You're the curious kind. I like that. To be honest, I'd rather have active and keen companions, ready to face up to any challenge. It's a lot better than having lazy ones who just follow you without ever saying a word. I hope this means you're in the former category. Well, anyway. We're both going to go to the Purification Hall, and I will perform a ritual to take your soul with me. Liking this concept? Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept. Without your spectral body, you'll just be a drifting perspective, a mere spectator. I'll let you witness the events of the story without intervening. The rest will be up to you. When we get to the fairy tale world, you are bound to witness key moments in the story that are similar to what you have experienced in your own past. The difficulty is that you obviously don't know what is going to lead you to your identity. Everything is going to come down to a feeling. In other words, not much. That's why I have developed a tool to make your pilgrimage a little easier. Take this. It's a piece of rock crystal. Its properties are rather special as it has been infused with magic. Memory fragment detected. As soon as you will reach a key moment, the crystal will resonate with your lost memories, and the Your surroundings will light up like this to warn you. Okay, so she's just breaking the fourth wall here. I like that little bit of... I like that... I like interrupted fourth wall breaks. Yeah, I do enjoy like an interrupted fourth wall break. Once you have correctly identified a key moment, the real hard work begins. To get a chance to retrieve your memory, you absolutely need to grab the memento, which is the material or immaterial source of the alert. If you're not sure what you should do when the crystal starts to flicker, try to touch everything you see. You may come upon the memento by chance. Regardless, the memento will instantly turn into a quartz after being found. Once the tale is over, we will come back here, and I will transform all your quartz into true memories. The more you have in your possession, the more chances you get to piece the puzzle back together and remember who you used to be. I'm counting on your alertness to bring back as many as possible. If you have any doubt, the fragments you have collected are viewable at any time from your satchel. Practical, isn't it? Incidentally, the rock crystal I'm lending you provides plenty of potentially interesting information. You can use it to have an idea of what your progression in the fairy tale is, for example. Recently, it has also started detecting strange little creatures who are hiding everywhere in the backgrounds. I call them the elementals because they're spirits based on the 4 elements: water, fire, wind, and earth. Why can't you just give us the crystals now? Because because then there wouldn't be any gameplay elements. But, quite frankly, I don't know why the rock crystal has decided to reveal those elemental spirits. Maybe you will obtain something if you manage to collect them all? Anyway, it is easy to let yourself get carried away by the story and miss the memory fragments, so keep your eyes open. I think we're done with the questions. Are you satisfied with my answers? What happened? Actually, Jordan, not a whole lot has happened so far. Just a lot of sort of setup so far. We haven't even gotten into the main story. Like, we haven't even gotten to the actual beginning of the story. Dramatic hair flip? Yep. So yeah, so far what's happened, we're dead. We are in a purgatory. We're basically an idea. Lise here basically explained that we are an idea. And we refused to accept it. We did not accept her explanation that we're just ideas. So instead, she's a witch. Everything is magic. It's all witch. It's all witchcraft. It's all magic. So we're going to explore a fairy tale and look for pieces of our memory. Apathetic yet sassy queen. I wouldn't say apathetic. Just... I mean, she cares. Like, she definitely cares. It's why she, like, goes to this effort for all the, for the... whatever we were. Spirits. Whoop. Ghosts. Whatever the hell that we were called. So she's not apathetic. She cares. It's just she's also... Also kind of done with people not believing what she says. I'm dead, I'm dead, I do what I want. Yes, I think so. It is quite hard to determine what I could ask, since this whole world is a mystery in itself. You have probably already thought about everything I could think of, and I bet you would like to know the answers as much as I do. Indeed. A lot of big words. There were some big words. Uchronia, which is like the temporal version of a utopia, a place that doesn't exist, so a Uchronia, a time that doesn't exist. And I forget the other big words. Yeah. There's been some surprisingly big words. Nemotherapy. As you may have noticed, though one eventually gets used to living in purgatory, that does not mean we have no interest in learning more when possible. Anyway, I think you're ready, and we don't have any time to waste. Follow me to the temple. We'll perform the ritual right away. With a lovely smile on her face, Lee stretched a hand towards me, and I took it. Though I did not understand everything about the purgatory I was in, I felt like I had nothing to lose by following her. With an anxious heart, I went to the temple to look for my past. Am I even capable of remembering or atoning for my sins? Don't be afraid. You're not alone. This is the mirror of your soul. Am I even capable of remembering, of atoning for my sins? Don't be afraid. You're not alone. This is the mirror of your soul. Let's visit this utopia together. Once upon a time. Oh, and once upon a time achievement. Sorry, I just wanted to... Yeah, I just got the Once Upon a Time achievement. Undead Think Baby. Anyway, this is pretty. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. And this music is Once Upon a Time, name of this track as well. Descendant of a great family from Mauritania, who had settled in Europe, the princess was as wise as she was beautiful. Mauritania, interesting. With her thirst for justice and strong personality, she was soon handed the reins of the country. Her wealth came from a magical donkey she had inherited from her ancestors. The animal could produce gold and jewels at will. She collected them to erect roads and buildings which would serve the interest of her people. Under her reign, works of art and projects of all sorts were developed. Her people lived without ever having to fear hunger, since she always found a solution. The attention she had for her people, as well as the vast power her wealth gave her, made the young princess hugely respected across the country, and everybody praised her. God seemed keen on satisfying her in return. The princess indeed fell deeply in love with a young, inexperienced, but honest noble, who had eyes for nobody else. He was from a famous family of 12 sons. Since he was one of the last born, he lacked attention, and desired to settle far from them, so he could write his own tale. She gave him love and respect, and he asked for nothing more. Get you a girl with a magical donkey? From their marriage, a lovely daughter was born, and she was already on the path to become as wise and brave as her mother. Year after year, the king and the queen ruled together as fairly as possible. The magical donkey, from which came their wealth, was treated well, and the couple's life seemed perfectly desirable. Girls only want one thing in life, a magical donkey. Everyone appreciates we have no choice but to stan magical donkeys. A magical atmosphere hung over the realm, and there were rumors the queen had to be part fairy to meet success in everything she was doing. No other country looked more like a fairy tale come true than this one. As the couple was enjoying their life, full of ideas to make their country a better place, misfortune eventually struck. The queen, who everyone thought invulnerable, fell critically ill. Even though the king called the best physicians in the world, nobody was able to find a cure for the sickness that was devouring the queen from the inside. Days passed. Citizens were getting more and more restless, and the family more and more depressed, but to no avail. Realizing she was going to draw her last breath, the queen spoke to her husband on her deathbed. She was still young, and she would have gladly kept working on all major undertaken projects. But she was even more remorseful for leaving her husband and her daughter so soon, as she loved the both of them so tenderly. So many things to do, so many memories to have, so many beautiful moments to live. Alas, pain was carving a deep chasm into her chest. As the king was leaning over and stretching a hand towards her, with the saddest look he ever had, she was struggling to tell him her last wills. Her face was partially paralyzed, ridden with painful spasms. Her face partially paralyzed, ridden with painful spasms. The queen exhaled excruciating moans. My dear, this is the end for me.
Hush, do not say a thing. Do not wear yourself out. I still believe. I have to believe. We will find a cure, and you will be better soon, I promise.
It is hopeless. I know this.
George V died from a speedball? There's a Marvel superhero named Speedball. Which is hilarious.
No, I cannot believe it.
Before I would depart, I would like you to do something for me. I love you, you know it, and I love the young princess too. I cannot stand imagining you crying over my death for too long. I want you to be happy above all else.
What are you trying to imply, my dear?
I know how you are. You will not be able to accept my death. You have always searched for my eyes, for my attention. I already know all too well how sad you will be.
Really? Yep.
But you will not be able to mourn my death until the end of time.
I would rather follow you in death than live without you, my lady.
How silly of you. The kingdom needs you. Our daughter needs you. Do not leave them behind, even for my sake.
But
Sooner or later, you will have to overcome my death. I want you to live, my beloved. I want you to live for me.
Don't make the king's voice like that. She will want to die faster. Can't imagine being so sure of my role in somebody else's life. I'm sorry, Jordan. I probably... Given how serious this scene is, I probably should give the king a more serious voice. And the queen as well.
I will never stop thinking about you.
In that case, please allow me to request something. I insist that you remarry. Find someone who will make you happy again. Someone who can take my place in the eyes of the people, of our daughter, the princess.
But I cannot do this. Nobody will ever replace you in my heart.
I know it is painful. It is painful for me as well. Deep down, I feel so angry imagining you in the arms of somebody else. But I am not selfish. I want you to be happy above anything else. If I am not here anymore, I at least want a woman as wise as me to know how to heal your heart. This is my last wish.
How could I fulfill such a cruel request? You are the one my heart craves, the only one.
Give the queen gasping breath like she's agonized. The queen laughed sadly. Fever and pain were gnawing at her. Soon, it became near impossible for her to talk. Her eyes were getting more and more obfuscated, to the point that she was unable to make out her husband's grieving face as he cried beside her. Stretching a hand towards him, towards the light, she tried rubbing his cheek one last time. Regretful, she could not help silently shedding tears. I'd rather die silently than tell my partner to move on while I die. The aching was becoming so intense, she was gradually losing her touch with reality. My fate is such a cruel one. I only want to live by your side, to bask in your innocent smile for all eternity. Yet I have to go. That is God's will. I do not want to. Of course I do not. It is too soon. There are still so many things I have to do here. It is too late, however. I cannot do anything but face it. The mere idea of being replaced is harrowing. To imagine someone else living in my quarters, ordering my retainers, settling in my home. To think about someone else in your arms, embracing you, kissing you, giving you new airs. I mean, no kink shaming, Queen. No kink shaming, Queenie. To think about someone else gaining the affection of my daughter, attending her wedding, raising and supporting her. It is making me die inside. Jealousy is eating what remains of me. I would still rather be here. I would rather have lived those beautiful days forever. But it is impossible. So even if it pains me, even if the thought is unbearable, you must find happiness. You must forget me. And that is so painful to me. You probably thought I would face death with dignity, that I would be stoic and calm. That is how people see me. However, I am only human after all. I wish I had been more righteous, but amidst this pain that is tearing my body to dust, all that remains are regrets. Thus, they bid a tearful farewell to each other. Cramps make me feel this way. Some time later, the queen died in unbearable suffering, and the king was inconsolable. As sensitive and deeply in love as he was, he considered that no girl from any good family could even ever rival his late wife. He consequently refused to remarry, and swore to never change his mind. The whole kingdom was mourning the death of its queen. One of the greatest ceremonies ever made was organized in her honor. Hey, Missy. It went on for several days and nights. Whether farmer or merchant, rich or poor, each citizen took part in the funeral. They decorated the city with lanterns in several places. Some water lanterns were even put on the Great Lake for her sake. At night, the candles could be seen all the way from the Lord's castle. The young princess, who was as sorrowful as her father, found comfort in admiring those lights. Those flickering lights looked like spots of hope to her. However, the country seemed to be consumed by a steadfast evil, harbinger of storms. Thus, things would never be the same again. As the years passed by, the kingdom slowly declined. The king had lost any hint of motivation and could not bring himself to do anything since his wife had died. Yield opium to ease her excruciating pain. I mean, they probably tried and it probably didn't work. Might be that whatever was wrong with her. The milk of the poppy. He cancelled all the great works the country was working on, thinking they had all lost meaning without her, and he locked himself up in stillness and silence. The citizens felt neither heard nor supported, and discontent was growing. Yet the king did not care. It almost seemed like he was trying to be hated by his people. Only the magical donkey was keeping the kingdom from going bankrupt. Again, no choice but to stand our magical donkey. That magical donkey is the real hero of this story. The magical donkey is the real hero of the kingdom. However, the inevitable happened. The donkey's fame went beyond the kingdom's borders, and several neighboring and wealth-seeking lords tried to invade the lands, leaving them scarred by wars. That's a sentence. I know! It's a great sentence. Only the magical donkey was keeping the kingdom from going bankrupt. It's a great sentence. Like I said, we stan our magical donkey. Hero of the kingdom. The once lively castle was now a shadow of its former self. Artists and merchants were fleeing one after another, looking for more auspicious lands. The people had lost all faith in their lord. At first, the king's apathy and inexperience were convenient for the nobles. Since he was handling the country rather poorly and was showing no sign of resistance, opportunistic counselors took advantage of the situation to seize control of the realm and get richer behind his back. However, the decadent mood was not so convenient anymore. After some time, but was it not already too late? The counselors realized that there was nothing to be expected from the current king, who had become impassive. They had to do something fast for the greater good. Factions appeared. Some thought the king could still take care of the realm until the princess' wedding with whom would become the new king. Others precisely hoped for the princess to seize the throne earlier than expected, while some others advised the king to find a new wife who could revive his will, or even that he go back to his homeland and leave the country with a new government. The most extremist nobles had no problem suggesting taking care of the king once and for all, but that last option would not satisfy anyone. They all lived in the wake of the previous queen, and they all wanted to honor her memory, but no one seemed to understand what she had been trying to build. Because of those long struggles, Just want to check something here. Yep. So here's where the archives are. Let's read this end of it. I'll read these two at the end of the... I suppose it might be useful to know now. Where you come from, you must have certainly heard of Charles Perrault, insofar as his work, Mother Goose Tales, is universally read. You think that you know all there is to know about fairy tales thanks to his legacy when it is, in fact, a far more extensive and complex subject than it appears. Perrault indeed takes his inspiration from oral traditions and folklore from his country, yet he does not give a faithful interpretation of them. On the contrary, he rewrites them as he wishes with a fashionable style specific of his time. Thus there are numerous adaptations, translations, and reworkings of the same stories through time. Fairy tales are not frozen. Each province, each country, possesses its own variations that sometimes merge together in a surprising way. Consequently, it is almost impossible to find the origin of a tale, even more so when there are traces of said tale in several distant countries around the same time. It is for all these reasons that I invite you to travel with me. In addition to helping you collect your lost memory, maybe this Uchronia will make you discover the richness and diversity of fairy tales. In any case, that is all I wish you. Starving Don Cheadle in a wig. Hey. Les petites coudées. Yep. In Tales from Earth and Sea, 1883, folklorist Paul Sebillot tells a Breton story that is quite similar to Beauty and the Beast, except for a few key details. A king and queen have two daughters called Dawn and Dusk. They give preference to the eldest as she is the prettiest and love her more than her sister. In order to marry Dawn, they organize a great ball and are very pleased to note that a swarm of suitors are gathering around her. However, as time passes, suitors gradually turn their back on her, because she is hardly amiable, preferring the youngest. If Dusk admittedly proves to be slightly less beautiful, she is in reality witty and full of grace, so much that everyone enjoys her company better. Irate to see their favorite ignored, the king and queen resolve to get rid of her rival. Under the flimsy excuse of paying a visit to her godmother, they send her in the forest in the dark of night. Dawn and Dusk, Aurore and Crépuscule in French, have quite the appropriate names. One embodies the morning's brightness, the other the evening's simplicity. The youngest daughter nevertheless remains the true protagonist of this story. Man, fairy tale parents are shitty. Like, what the hell? Oh, this song is Aurore et Crépuscule. However it's pronounced. Aurore et Crépuscule. Crépuscule. I don't know how it's pronounced. Ask him if he wants to build a snowman. No. Fuck snowmen. Because of those long struggles, King Thibaut was asked to find a new wife day after day. However, he was still obstinately refusing to do so. What is my favorite fairy tale? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite fairy tale is. His most faithful counselors were growing desperate.
But, Your Excellency, the whole kingdom's fate is at stake.
You cannot remain impassive while some are scheming for your death or your replacement. James and the Giant. The one where the witch eats the children in the gingerbread house. Sure, any fairy tale where the kids die, that's a good one. I do like any fairy tale where the kids get killed. I'm joking.
Exactly. Your lack of action is folly. You must choose someone to live by your side, to put an end to those complaints weighing on your shoulders.
I do not care. Let them kill me if this is what they want. To follow my queen is my only wish. Beauty and the sleeping... Actually, Jordan, what I was going to say is the little Jew maid. Jew isn't because J-O-U, like the start of your name? The little Joe maid? The little Jor maid. The little Jor maid. The little Jor maid. Jews and Jewish mermaid. How do you circumcise a merman? Does a how do you circumcise a merman, I wonder? The three Billy Goats cunt. Yeah.
You cannot say that, Your Excellency. The Queen would always think of the kingdom's best interests. If you give up the realm, you betray her memory.
So be it. If you did not wish to manage the kingdom, then why keep this masquerade going? You put him under the sea? You should have married the princess off much earlier. Think of your daughter. It is time for her to see something else. My daughter, the princess, may hate me for all I care. My whole kingdom, too. Nobody will ever be as great as my departed wife. But
My lord! Enough! I do not want to see you anymore for today. Be gone. Leave me alone.
Horrified, the councillors could feel the kingdom's ruin looming. While some were already planning a coup d'etat and were fighting over some arbitrary throne, the loyalists thought they had to find a way to pierce through the king's walls. Beauty Briss. To get a better understanding of the king's psyche, they called an old druid.
Go and try to convince King Thibaut to find a new wife. We are ready to do anything to make him change his mind, regardless of whom would be the wife he chose.
Do not worry, sirs. Just sit by.
The druid, who was dishonest but quite crafty, happened to be peerless when it came to influencing the human soul. As soon as he appeared before the gloomy king, he made a great impression thanks to the mysterious look he had perfected. Wait, what was this song? Hold on. Nuit Noir. Nuit Noir, I guess is the name of this track.
Your Highness, your counselors invited me here today because they are worried about your health. Speak freely. What is weighing on your heart?
Just need to find a good sturgeon.
The death of my wife, of course. I have lost any desire to live since she died in my arms. I cannot see nor hear. I keep on brooding over the past, again and again.
I understand. The Queen's ghost still haunts you, and you are a prisoner of the past. Yet could the spell be broken? You wish for the good of the kingdom, do you not?
Naturally. I wanted to follow through with her work. I wanted to be strong. But I let myself be shut away by time and decay. It is far too late now.
If I may, I think there is a solution. You have to find a young woman who can become the new queen.
Dead wife. Always with the dead wife. Yep.
No one can do it. I have taken a look at the portraits of all the neighboring girls from good families who are ready to be wed. They have been sent to me, all of them. There is not a single woman with her qualities.
Yet you did not wish to meet with any of them. Why not give them a chance to show you who they are?
It does not matter. I already know it.
Could it be that you are taking the Queen's last wish to heart, and you are only ready to wed a far more beautiful woman than she was?
Beauty is indeed enjoyable, but I do not really care about it. I only ask her to be wise, smart, and righteous.
Are you looking for someone who shares her traits?
Who's this warlock? Druid! He's a druid! The king stood still. Given the awkward silence, the druid knew he was right. The king did not just want any princess in the area. He wanted someone who looked like his departed wife as much as possible.
And if there were a Moorish princess, would you consider marrying her?
Maybe.
Then, your highness, I only know one such person. One righteous and wise princess who looks exactly like our departed queen.
Criminal offense side-eye. I mean, the slow zoom is so funny for no reason. It is kind of, yeah.
She lives near you at the moment.
And who might she be? I have a portrait of her with me. I think it is the only one you did not glance at. Really? Why would my counselors hide this mysterious princess from me? See for yourself.
The ambitious druid handed the portrait to the ancient king. He grabbed it and paced up and down across the room in a revealing silence.
She is magnificent. This face, this skin, this expression. She is lovely. And you are telling me that she is wise and righteous? Absolutely, Your Highness. She has received the best education. I recognize those eyes. I could swear I am looking at my wife. How is this possible? Who is this foreign girl? She is Princess Kiana, your daughter, Your Majesty.
Man, how long has it been since he looked at his own fucking kid? How does he not recognize? Like, has he just not looked? Has he just not seen his own kid in like 10 years or something?
My daughter?
The king was shocked for a split second. Depression had taken hold of him to the point of cutting him off from reality. To be honest, he had refused to see his daughter since the queen's funeral, because her mere presence reminded him of those beautiful days forever lost. Apparently, yeah. Apparently he hasn't looked at his own daughter in years. However long it's been since the queen died. 10, 15 years or however long it's been. Like, what a terrible, terrible father. And frankly, that's shitty husband behavior. You know, way to disrespect your dead wife. You had to go years without looking at your kid? Without even looking at your kid? Not even looking, you know? Never mind taking care of, just like, hasn't even seen his fucking kid. Your wife is in labor for probably a good few hours, dude. You know, your wife did not spend hours in labor just for you to fucking ignore the kid. What a douchebag. Didn't the queen see the kid need to? Yes, she said, yeah, our daughter needs you. And the king is like, fuck that brat. Yes. Queen's like, take care of our daughter. And then the king's like, nah, fuck that kid. And now here he is years later. I'ma fuck this kid. I'ma fuck our kid. He did not even know what she looked like or what kind of woman she had become. He suddenly felt shameful. Yes! Needs you to run a train, good sir?
Are you making a fool of me, Druid? Are you telling me to marry my own daughter?
Admittedly, it must sound rather extreme. But think about it, Your Highness. Is there someone else who could look more like your departed wife than her? Is it not troubling? I would even say it as a gift from God.
A divine gift, you say?
Oh, there's the zoom again. Princess Kiana looks too much like her departed mother for it to be a mere coincidence. This is God's will. The Queen's soul did not go to heaven. It settled in that younger, tailor-made body. Ew. She is simply waiting for you to find her, my lord. Do not miss this second chance. Dude, no kink shaming, but don't make your kink everyone else's problem. Don't make your incest kink everyone else's problem. Confused by the old druid's silver-tongued words, King Thibaut hesitated and eventually sent the man away, claiming he would think about it. But the seed had already been planted. Weakened by his unstable state, the king was already struggling not to completely succumb to despair. Men would rather frame their weird kink as a gift from God than go to therapy. Tailor-made body just ruined all possible jokes. The flickering hope the swindling druid had brought to him was enough to make the king fall into darkness. Little by little, over the course of the increasingly frequent visits from the man who would become his confidant, the king started to give in to the idea. The druid had a way of implying that the young princess was actually the reincarnation of her mother, and that she surpassed her in everything, so much so that the impressionable king eventually believed him. This new obsession was the only thing which was keeping him alive from this point forward. And thus, he did the unforgivable. Domestic life. That morning, a sweet scent hung in the castle's corridors. The azure sky hinted at a beautiful spring day ahead. In the feeble light illuminating a four-poster bed, a silhouette was quietly moaning. All of a sudden, hurried footsteps could be heard nearby, and the door was slammed open. A breathless young retainer entered the suite. I think this one's going to be around for a while, so what? Daughter acquired, depression lifted. Princess, it is time to wake up! A muffled groan was her only answer. I would love to let you sleep, but I cannot do so, unfortunately. Do not forget that your private tutor has scheduled a lesson for this morning. The figure moved laboriously. Is that you, Nahima? Who else, Princess? I am the one waking you up every morning. Now please make haste and get out of bed. We need to perform your toilette. The young woman stood up without a word and let her lady-in-waiting guide her. Through precise and vigorous gestures, she made her take a bath, then took care of dressing her. Just as the retainer was going to brush her hair, Kiona finally seemed to get out of her torpor. What is that flowery scent that has been tickling my nose since this morning? It must be the verbenas, Princess. It is the season, after all. Verbenas are quite exquisite flowers, do you not think? All those colors. Maybe. I see that you are not fully awake yet. Did you happen to spend a rough night? I do not know. All that I remember is that I dreamt for quite a long time. And what did you dream about, Princess? That I was with you, that I was queen, or that I was alone. What do you think? Do we go sad route? Ambitious route? Or lesbian route? Whoops. I should have moved this back up here. Excuse me. So that's 2 votes for lesbians. For the record, there are 3 romance routes in this game. Nahima is one of them. And thank you, Vanna. Alright, then I was with you. Some choices will impact the story later on. Oh, it almost sounds romantic. Romantic, I do not know. However, I clearly remember that I was feeling incredibly serene. Do you think that this is a good omen? Assuredly. In any case, that is all I wish you. Hey, Colorado Milk. I have 3 roots for love, too. God damn it, Scrapegoat. Your dream was surely very pleasant, Princess, but you should not fall asleep again. Do not forget that your lesson is supposed to start soon. Do not worry about me, Nahima. I am quite positive the poor sod will be late again anyway. Princess, you should not speak ill of your tutor. He is an excellent teacher. What is he planned for today? I do not know. We have completely given up on arithmetic over the past couple of days, and we are now focusing on practicing singing and playing the harp. Harps are cute. Bluey? It's not Bluey. It's, It's Gigi. It's Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service. I like the harp. The harp is a very pretty instrument. And it's just like, it looks cool. Like, I think the harp just looks really cool as well. Like, aside from being pretty, it's a really interesting designed instrument. I like it. So do I, Colorado Milk. It's a very cute shirt. Why are you only studying music? Why the sudden change? It is a request from my father, or so it seems. I do not know why. I have not seen him for years. I thought he had no more interest in me. I am sure the king is simply a bit shy. Though he can get on his high horse, he may not even dare to be near you after your mother's death. I think he resents me. Harps are so intense and to be so subtle. Kinda? They are big instruments. They are very large instruments. And then they've got such... Hey, ugly hobo. And then they've got such delicate sounds. Why would... anyway, I think he resents me. Why would that be? You're drunk? Congratulations! One way or another, he must be ashamed of me. He surely found a mistress after all this time, and, sooner or later, he will tell me that he wants to repudiate me. That would not be correct of him. In that case, why has he not tried to marry me off? I am 17 years old. Is it not unusual? For political purposes, yes. For like royalty, yeah, it is unusual. It is somewhat unusual for like a princess to not be married by 17, because normally they'd get married pretty young for political, as part of political shit, shore up alliances and stuff like that. Even then, 17 isn't actually that unusual. You know, it's not. Even then, it's not actually that odd for princess to not be married by 17. It happens.
I do like the freedom, but I cannot shake the feeling that it is a bad omen.
17 seems young. I mean, young for anyone else. Not for royalty. Not for a princess. "17, she's a dancing queen." There is a perception that, like, oh, people just married young back then. And, like, not really. Most normal people would marry, like, early 20s, same as now. Back then, it was still fairly common for regular people, low value women. Even back then, like, for normal people, it wasn't unusual to wait until, 20, 21, 20s. But for a princess, it would usually be young. They'd usually be married young. Sometimes even as literal children, because it was part of, like, political maneuvering. She'll hit the wall next year.
After all, young girls from good families are wed between 12 and 14 years old.
I'm getting old, and at this rate, nobody will ever want to marry me. With a lovely face like yours, perish the thought.
You are as beautiful as an angel, princess.
And smart at that. No prince should ever refuse your hand. She used a bunch of 6-syllable words.
Thank you, Nahima. It is nice of you to comfort me.
You know I mean it. Look at that beautiful hair. I could brush it for hours without getting bored. She's too innocent, you can tell by her unassuming eyebrows. Yep. She's had a fairly sheltered life. Kiana gave a faint but tender smile. Nahima had been her lady-in-waiting, her personal assistant, and her confidant for many, many years. As far as she could remember, they had been inseparable. Older by only 2 years, Nahima happened to share the heiress' Mauritanian origins. However, unlike Kiana's family, which had always consisted of famous nobles, Nahima's humbler family had settled in the region as retainers. The late queen herself had trusted the young Mauritanian servant, and that was how she had become the princess's lady-in-waiting, despite her humble origins. She was now greatly enjoying taking care of the princess, and the sudden death of the queen had only brought them closer. It was, without a doubt, Nahima's optimism and kindness that were allowing Kiana to live a comfortable life, despite the grim state of the country. Am I wrong? Is that... Thought there might have been something there, but... Between the lessons to hone her king knowledge and the time spent with her retainer, the heiress was not lacking in anything. Yet she was feeling deeply bored, and, to her dismay, no party could ever awaken the sleeping castle. I just wanted to show... What do they have? Dark eye? you change your love interest or choice film? Not entirely sure yet, Comic Book. I mean, it's because they're from Mauritania. I mean, blue eyes are not very common among people who come from Mauritania. But yeah, I just wanted to show the chandelier in the background is moving. So they've got like these backgrounds they do actually have some animation here and there, which is just, it's kind of a neat touch. Oops. If things keep going like this, I am going to die of old age within these walls, she thought, a bit melancholic. No one will ever look for me. No one will ever come to save me. And I will end up alone in this depressing place. What color are my eyes? I have brown eyes. She did not want to show Nahima her anguish, so she tried her best to smile. With the brushing done, the two girls left the room to attend to their occupations. Princess Superiors. Once this... Yeah, it's been 2 hours, so... Going to save here. So, aside from feeling like the framing device went a little bit too long, I am otherwise enjoying this so far. Haven't seen Chantel yet. What is this? It's a visual novel. I like this game despite the threat of incest, yep. Much better than the poop. But yeah, it's where do brown eyes come from? I have no idea, Ugly Hobo. But yeah, it's an interesting setup. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Now that we're into the actual story, I'm enjoying the actual story so far. The art is very pretty. One thing I will say is it's the language used is very formal. The lack of contractions is kind of weird. Can't remember a single word of minuet. Fair. The incest is the threatened incest is part of the story. It is so balls. This is based on a fairy tale. Donkey Skin. This is based on a fairy tale called Donkey Skin, and in that fairy tale, King tries to marry his daughter. So, fairy tales are dark, man. Watercolor art direction softens the incest. So there's no actual incest. There's no actual incest taking place. The king tries to marry his daughter. The daughter runs away. So the princess escapes before any incest actually happens. So there's nothing actually, hope it's a happy ending. From what I've gathered, there's a few different endings. But yeah, like the threat of it is something that is supposed to be horrifying. It is, like, we are meant to be horrified at the prospect. The daughter marries who? In the original fairy tale, the daughter marries marries another prince. The princess marries another prince. In this one, there are 3 romance options. Is that a beer you're drinking? Nope. It's cream soda. Pop Shop brand cream soda. Where the threat of incest is. Thoughts on Santa Claus for Christmas? Again, balls. It's based on a fairy tale, and it is something that we are supposed to be horrified at. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that, balls. So yeah, this is it is an interesting beginning to the game. I am looking forward to playing more of it. So that'll be it for tonight. I'll be back in a couple days. If Santa could give me a present, what would I want? God damn it. I want to see what's in Santa's sack. Didn't want to go dirty, I had to go dirty. Endless beef. So yeah. So anyway, on that note, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a couple days. Because, I mean, good odds I probably won't be getting up in time for shower tomorrow. But odds are good I'll skip my shower tomorrow, so I'll see you next time I do shower. So, good night, everybody. Good night from me and